I don't wanna pretend you're something when nothing. I was stuck thinking about her. Can't hold on. I'm in pain. Wanna put 10 shots in my brain. I've been tripping about some things can't change.
I want you to bear with me. I know this whole title to this video sounds insane, and it sounds like it's not true, and I didn't want to believe it at first either, because I was completely 100% convinced that X had actually died. But I was talking to my friend earlier, and we came up with some proof, and we found some like stuff that doesn't add up about his death, and now we're starting to get suspicious, and we're starting to suspect things, especially with all the legal stuff that he had going on, and I think there's more to this than we think. So if you guys want to bear with me, and I will try to be as fast and concrete as possible, there's actually a lot more to this whole situation. First of all, yesterday I was just at my house, everything was good. Then out of nowhere, I get this news report from my friend that X had just been shot, and that he was like in a coma or something. I couldn't believe it, so I went to check, and then like little after that, I think it wasn't even 30 minutes, he was like pronounced dead. Out of nowhere, X is suddenly pronounced dead, and we're all like, what the fuck is going on? So you know me, I was sad as fuck the whole night. As today rolled in, yesterday I couldn't accept it because it was so recent, but I finally started saying, okay, he's dead, now I need to find a way to try to heal from this. And then today, out of nowhere, my friend drops the fucking bomb on me, and I fucking find out that there's a pretty 50% chance, I'd say maybe a little bit over 50, but there's a pretty significant 50% chance that X is actually alive. I want to introduce my friend, Dank. Check out his channel in the description. What's up?
I don't know, nothing much other than this crazy situation.
I'm gonna try to run through this chronologically, and then we'll tell you the theory at the end of the video. But stick with us, please, because there's a lot of stuff of substance, and it only keeps getting like more and more interesting. In case we're just assholes and we're wrong, we just want to apologize for disrespecting X. He's actually dead. We're sorry, but there is some stuff here that just doesn't make sense. First thing that my friend told me was, I was on Snapchat. He told me that the guy in the video, or the guy in the picture, that guy wasn't X. And I was like, what do you mean it's not X? That's obviously fucking X. There's a comparison between an older picture of X and a picture of X now. And he shows me that X in the video, if you look at the video, I'll probably put a picture up on the screen. X has no tattoos in that video. You know how X has tattoos on his face? He had literally, you can go through the video, he has no tattoos. I came up with this theory. It could have been color saturation, like the camera may have not picked them up. It wasn't just one video, there were multiple videos on several phones.
I've seen something on Instagram, somebody said something about the color of his pants changing, like from a video and a photo or something like that.
Yeah, that didn't add up at first. Okay, who knows, maybe it was color saturation, you know, I still wasn't sold. Of course, we'd all like to believe that he's alive because we're all in shock about what just happened. Who knows, maybe still wasn't buying it. And then I told my friend, sorry, I don't believe you, I just don't see this being an actual thing. Who am I to like just put this away immediately and not actually give it a chance? So I looked at the picture that he sent me. I'll probably put a picture of it up. And if you look at that picture, he has blue hair. When his album was first releasing, he had blue hair. And if you look at X's most recent video, which we'll get into later, we'll talk about that later because it's very important. But if you look at his most recent video, his hair is different. It's like before, it's like a blondish type of hair color. For such a short transition, for X to out of nowhere change his hair color again, it just wasn't adding up. And we'll get into the blue hair color. I can see that there's something not adding up here, because we recently saw X and he had a completely different hair color. So that raises some questions. And then if you focus in on his face, and for sure from a distance it looks fairly similar to X, but then when you really zoom in on his face is kind of different. It doesn't stop there. First of all, my friend pointed something out to me. He said that the tilt in X's position in the car and the way the SUV couldn't have fit the car. Sure, maybe a talented sniper could pull that off, but I don't think out of the suspects that we have for the people who've been suspected to have murdered X, I don't think the best snipers out there. Like, they seem like quite newbies. I don't see that bullet ever reaching him. But also, something else that got leaked. Now, this could be one of the more fake ones. There was a leak on Instagram, I'll post it here somewhere, of a group that X made between, I think it's loyal people, close people to him, to let...
backstage members.
Yeah.
VIP, yeah.
To let them know that he's okay, and that got leaked. Now, that one, it could be fake, because that is very easy to fake. This whole thing went viral, so that one, I'm not that sure about it, but there is a chance that the X could have actually made that group, and that there is a group for people X is close to let them know he's alive. Now we'll explain why all this happens later, but the main these 2 points are the points which made me want to make this video, because these 2 points that I'm about to tell you are the ones which completely fucking sold me. The first point. Don't you guys think it's a bit of a fucking coincidence for the last video for X to make to us is about him talking about his death and be like, oh, if I die, I'll be happy that I made you guys happy? Like, don't you think that's a bit of a fucking coincidence? So recently, before this whole thing goes down, that X would just, like, kind of subliminally warn us about what was about to happen, as if all this thing was planned. Like, I'm sorry, but for X's last video, that's a bit of a coincidence, and immediately that brings red flags.
Was saying, is predicting it and saying it was basically what happened like the day before he died.
Yep.
It was a little incredible when talking to me, so.
And we know X cares about his fans, like he's not going to be a complete arsehole and abandon us. And for him to make that video just keeps on proving he was trying to tell us something. And now this next piece of proof was the one which completely sealed me on all of this situation. But my friend recently sent me, right before this podcast, another friend of mine, he sent me a picture of a video. I think I'll put it up on the screen. I can't remember what it was called. It was like a warning from the Illuminati for X or something like that. But there was this video put up 4 months ago, and in the thumbnail is the exact same thumbnail as this recent video. And what I'm seeing from that video is if this video happened 4 months ago, if they got the thumbnail from this video 4 months ago, then that means that X pre-recorded all of this, and then my friend is going to explain his theory about why X would do something like that, and why he'd set us up, because there's some legal stuff going on, if you want to tell them what your theory is.
Right, so basically my theory of what's going on here, there's so many different things X was going through at the time. He was going, legal trouble with his girlfriend,
Yep.
and everything else, because I think he set this up to go and get away from this. And maybe if you look on his dad reacting to it, but there is no so maybe he took his dad and left.
I think that this whole thing was a setup, like he said. I think it was pre-recorded because we knew X was like in some deep shit with the court, and I think he had to get away. And I think this whole fucking thing was pre-recorded, because if you look at the video 4 months ago, there is no way they could have gotten that thumbnail, because that thumbnail is of the video we just saw. It's of X getting shot. And also this goes back to my point about the blue hair. Why would X have the blue hair in this video? Like, it makes sense he'd have the blue hair in this video, because if this video is pre-recorded, this was pre-recorded around 4 months ago when X did have the blue hair. And maybe that was X in the car. Maybe that was some type of makeup or something. But it is very possible that this was all planned, and that this was pre-recorded, and X sent us this warning before he wanted to release it, and that due to his blue hair, and due to all we've seen and the evidence just not adding up, I think it's pretty safe to say that there is a more than 50% chance that X is actually alive. And if he's alive, it's gonna get leaked. Like, I'm sorry, no matter who you are, wherever you go, you're gonna get leaked. But I swear to God, the one thing that I don't want it to be true, if this is a whole stunt for a new album he's doing, if he wants this to be like some dramatic shit for a new album he's pulling, because that would be like one of the most fucking despicable, disrespectful things you could do as an artist, if it's just for some stupid fucking album, if that's why he went ahead and did all of this. But, of course, like,
some people are believing that.
Yeah, I'm believing that too, but as like a fan, I want him to be alive. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, but there's multiple things to keep in mind here. The first thing to keep in mind is that probably this was pre-recorded and this was all planned, and this could have been a setup. We don't know for what reason yet, but we did know that X was in some deep legal shit. And the fact that he would make that pre-warning video, and the fact that the blue hair and everything, and the way everything is just set up, and that thumbnail that I showed you guys, it doesn't add up. But I'm trying to look at this from a critical point of view and only looking at the evidence that we have in front of us. And right now, we have quite a few pieces of evidence. We have like 10 pieces of evidence which do indicate that something is wrong, or that there's more to this than we've been led on to believe.